Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I, like many of you, played the alpha just this gone weekend, and I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on the game and what we hope to see and what could change coming up in the future. So, the big question first of all, did I die before I got a kill? Technically, yes. My issue was I actually died twice before I got a kill because I was too busy messing around in-game with the settings to change my controller. So I was basically just a free kill because I wasn't moving. Once I did change my controls and actually started playing, then I did get a kill before I died. So I don't know how you want to claim that one. It depends how much you kind of go into that. But one of the main things I kind of noticed when first loading up the game is, first of all, it seems kind of cleaner and there's not as much stuff flowing about and problems. I think it can be a little bit harder maybe to see players on this game, but at the same time we also get this really colourful, game to look at, and I do prefer more colourful Call of Duties. I know some people don't. Some people really like Modern Warfare with the grey to brown, and that's your entire colour palette. But I liked it. I thought Miami looked pretty good, although I didn't think it was a great map. But that kind of different environment when you're running around and it is colourful, I do enjoy in tryout games, and they do seem to do an awful lot of it. For me, though, I think let's talk about main mechanics of this game, right? First of all, the movement did seem a little bit lighter when you're running around. You seem a bit light on your feet. I already put auto sprint back onto mine as well because I did think that, I like it. I just prefer auto sprint. Hip fire, it obviously affects, but it's easier for me not to worry about breaking my left thumbstick. And if you ever saw my old thumbstick, I basically wore it away in some of the old games. The sliding, which I believe has already been patched, was way too fast. It was just crazy how fast you would move, and it would lead to people just coming around the corner about max 7, just absolutely ripping you to shreds. So fortunately that's going to be patched as well, so I didn't mind that mechanic for it. I do say though, please, will you bring back the dolphin dive? Like, we need the dolphin dive back. There's no problems with that mechanic. Everybody slides about, but I do prefer dolphin diving. I just think it's a cool mechanic, and it was sad for me not to see it come back as well. But another thing I think I saw for this one is maybe hit markers. Now, I said this actually back in Black Ops 4, and it actually went back to the devs when I tweeted it. Hit markers, I think, could still be Meteor. And no, not that funny TikTok where they talk about Meteor versus Meteor and the dinosaurs. I mean that they just need to have more impact when you hear them. Like, the feedback you get from a hit marker is very important to me to judge, when somebody's going to die. And it's also more of a satisfaction thing, like bum 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 bum. Like, you've taken a kill, and you kind of mentally, unconsciously click that in your head to say, well, I've got enough bullets, move on to the next one. Like, it's kind of a tempo thing to figure out when you switch. And I thought maybe that could be a little bit better in Cold War. Another thing I thought is sometimes the players are a little bit more difficult to see, and the sights don't always help with that. And obviously, I think, some people experienced it, especially with the health bars, popping up so occasionally. Like, it was difficult to tell exactly how much you were hitting them for. They were either dead or they weren't. It wasn't as clear as Black Ops 4 was, and I would like to see a change to that as well. Thank goodness normal mini-map is back, though, right? Like, it is back. They have to, red dots appear on the mini-map like it should be for a Call of Duty game. So I think, I was pleasantly surprised with, Call of Duty Cold War. No doors being in anymore, although I did run into some during it, so the doors are gone. Some of the maps didn't seem the greatest of designs, and I think maybe that's, we saw 3. Like, obviously I'm not including the bigger maps here. I don't really play a lot of the bigger maps. For me, they were just messes, and I'm not a big fan of Ground War either. So I skipped most of those during the alpha because I knew I wouldn't be playing a lot of them anyway, and I know some people enjoy it, but I really didn't. I'm hoping with Trout we usually get a good map design, and it usually helps move on forward. So that's one of the things I was kind of most looking forward to in alpha, and it did seem to be that way for a lot of it. They weren't overly complicated. There weren't 8,000 bolt holes for people to hide in, or impossible to push lanes because there's cover and hiding and doors and ledges and verticality and all this other rubbish that Call of Duty doesn't really need unless you want to play Hiding Simulator 2017. So for me, yeah, I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. I think the gunsmith, which was brought back for this game, is still good. I don't mind gunsmith. It's a lot of attachments, but there are some benefits they've made to it. Like, you do now get the actual numbers of what these do to your gun, plus 7% recoil or minus 33% aim down sight speed. That's fantastic. That is literally a great thing. I don't need bars that don't mean anything. Alright, I don't want to have to go onto YouTube and get a YouTuber to explain to me the vertical recoil pattern that it actually makes a difference for me to actually care. I just want numbers. I want to know what I'm actually doing to my weapon. Alright, so that's better. However, while they've improved that in Gunsmith, the Gunsmith is actually harder to use because it's all down one side and you have to kind of keep coming back in and out of it to figure out what attachment you've got on and put on, and so it could use a visual update there to make it a better Gunsmith, but it wasn't bad. So yeah, I think that was better. Score streaks as well has been another big change that's come through, and for me, score streaks does mean, well, score streaks is better anyway, but this persist through death thing, I was really worried. I'm sure a lot of you were as well, but it didn't seem to overbalance. Like, I wasn't dropping a chopper gunner every game. I wasn't getting major streaks, right? Once, you know, Skill Based Matchmaking kicked in, it wasn't something that was kind of just crowding my map. So I actually think, you know what, that might be fine, right? They're more difficult to get, but they persist after death, okay? So it's not like you're never going to get one. You still have to have a good game to get one, all right? But you just don't have to do an infinite streak without dying. So that for me was certainly better. I think I've talked about snipers, but snipers, you know, obviously are going to be patched, right? Snipers were way overpowered, and they're going to go back to being normal. Same with the AKU, that'll go back to normal. Even things like the LMGs in this game seemed pretty good. I used a few of them here. The assault rifles, again, very little recoil in this game for basically any weapon. How that plays out, we'll find out when we've got a chance to play with all of the guns, but it's not going to be a high recoil Call of Duty anyway. I know we've got shotguns back as secondaries. Haven't seen that in a while. They aren't too bad. I used a pump shotgun and I actually got a bit of, you know, gameplay with a pump shotgun running about, and it was pleasant to use. It wasn't bad. Like, close range, you could one-shot somebody, but most times it was two. But if you got to get two, then obviously you have to rack the slide. And if you rack the slide, there is a chance they can kill you. I didn't get a ton of chances to use the spaz shotgun, but it's a semi-automatic shotgun, and that could be very dangerous. But at close range, at super close range, okay? Which is fine, because I know technically shotguns are great at much longer distances in real life, but when playing a video game, shotguns should be close range. That's what they're for in computer games. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I thought that wasn't too bad way of balancing it. You obviously get your launchers and your pistols and all that sort of stuff going through, but no, pleasantly surprised by Cold War. I quite like that. There are obviously some things I'm hoping are going to change from the alpha going forward, and I think I've mentioned a lot of these in this video, but for me, I'm always a big proponent of tryout games. I have been for a long way. You know, Black Ops, the original, was fantastic. They seem to be making an awful lot of effort for this one. The Warzone stuff that's coming, you know, whether or not it's very similar or the mechanics change a little bit because of the fact it is a different engine and different Call of Duty game, I'm hoping to see. But realistically, I kind of want to know what other people think, because Cold War for me was a fun 3 days. You know, it was one of the games where I kind of joined. It's like, it's a new Call of Duty. I enjoy it. Whether or not they add a bit more weight to the steps you take around here, Dead Silence being back is cool. They've got new equipment like a field mic, which, you know, is just, I'm never going to use, but it's kind of a cool concept. You can kind of hear people running around next to you. They've got an automatic field equipment for taking down score streaks. Also great. We don't need those kind of mashing the map up too much, so I appreciate that as well. And I think for competitive, it should be a pretty good game. I'm very much looking forward to see what the meta is once the full patches come out. Because for Call of Duty competitive, I'm always hesitant to judge a game before I really get my hands on it. People will judge from trailers. People look at, all this looks good, all this looks bad. I think, bearing in mind it was an alpha, it's a very good basis for a Call of Duty game. We've gone back to 4v4. The maps look a little bit tighter than, you know, some of the ones on Modern Warfare. So even though they may have the same amount of lanes, in Modern Warfare there was, you know, 8,000 ways to do stuff. Here it seemed very streamlined. And that's what I'm probably most looking forward to. But that's what I think about Call of Duty Alpha. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious to know how you experienced it and enjoyed it and got on with the game. So please leave a comment below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.